News lost the lawsuit. They're going to pay $787.5 million to Dominion Voting Systems. As you know, and it came out in discovery, the process by which different evidence is revealed and will be brought into the trial, those pieces of evidence leaked to us, the public, that there was a lot of clear knowledge on the part of Fox's lead people and Fox at the highest levels, including Rupert Murdoch, that they were perpetuating a lie. It was completely not true, that which they were saying about the vote flipping, about it, right? So as that evidence became clearer and clearer to us, the public, I think Fox was looking down the barrel of a humiliating trial that would likely have, the outcome might have been in doubt. And I say that because you never know what a jury is going to decide. But what certainly wouldn't have been in doubt is the impression the public has of Fox. It would have been humiliating for all of their stars. The Sean Hannitys, the Laura Ingrams, Maria Bartiromo, Lou Dobbs. Did you see what they said about Lou Dobbs in some of these? The takeaways from all of this, more than the $787 million check that was written. The takeaways include those things that were said about other people on their network. I love the Dobbs thing because Dobbs was, he is truly a fire-breathing dragon, Lou Dobbs. And Trump dialed into Lou Dobbs' show on January 6th. And Lou Dobbs wanted to have him on, but Fox executives vetoed it. This is, again, one of the things that came out in all of this stuff. So we talk about, well, what did we walk away with when we didn't get to see them on the stand? We weren't going to see them on the stand anyway, obviously. Cameras were barred, so were recordings. But we're not going to even be able to read about what was said. We're not going to be able to in any way get that moment of reckoning, of humiliation. Okay, yeah, but look at what's revealed. Let's go back to this Dobbs scenario. Fox executives vetoed the decision. This was in the legal brief. Why? Not because of a lack of newsworthiness. January 6th was an important event by any measure. But this is all from the brief. President Trump not only was a sitting president, he was the key figure that day. It would be irresponsible, the network executive said, to put him on the air and could impact a lot of people in a negative way. Dobbs was the most aggressive of the Fox News anchors in presenting the Dominion conspiracy theories. His Fox Business program was taken off the air on February 5th, 2021. The quote on Lou Dobbs from a top Fox News executive named Jay Wallace was, "The North Koreans do a more nuanced show than Lou Dobbs."
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, that's your own network saying that. So there were revelations, and we did hear recordings, and we heard Maria Bartiromo, who is, sold her soul, it seems, long ago. She was really sidled up to Sidney Powell, loved exchanging emails with Giuliani, with Powell, but aware herself, Bartiromo was, that what they were slinging was BS. In fact, Bartiromo said, and this is something else that was revealed in all of this, that emails involving Powell and Eric Trump were nonsense and inherently unreliable. This is all the Venezuela stuff. Remember everything said about Dominion, describing Nancy Pelosi as having an ownership position in Dominion. The MyPillow guy. But what I would love to say to so many who are looking forward to that moment of reckoning is we likely weren't going to see it anyway.
Yeah.
They were going to go on the stand, and they were going to tell a different story. This is definitely a win for Dominion, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I wanted you to hear a little something from the co-lead counsel of the Dominion suit, who spoke a bit about what we would have seen in the trial. Do you have that, Albert? This is off of MS. Take a look.
And by the way, they're number one in many ways. There are millions of viewers that will not get this news. And what do you say to that?
I think that's a shame. But if you would look at what would have happened in a trial, I can tell you, because I saw what their opening statement slides looked like. They were going to come into that courtroom and they were going to gaslight. We weren't going to get Rupert Murdoch up on the stand admitting he had that he could have stopped this and he knew what was going on. He was going to say he had no idea. The hosts were going to say they had an open mind, that they thought this could be true. And Joe, you're a lawyer. You know how this works. We're going to have to come in there with the documents and prove that they were lying over and over again when they claimed they had an open mind and didn't know what the truth was. Those documents are out there. So you're absolutely right, Mika. We can't make Fox News report on this. We couldn't make Fox News report on the trial, even if it happened. But go ahead. Sorry.
Couldn't you hold out for an apology, though?
I think that's the thing that surprised a lot of people. They expected Fox to have to issue an apology for causing such grievous harm, not only to the company, but also to its employees, and many would argue to American democracy.
I agree with everything you just said. I think the apology is a little bit the wrong thing to be asking for. I think what we wanted is the truth to get out there. A forced apology isn't worth much. But if Fox, and they're adults, they know how to do this. If they would just tell their viewers the truth about what actually happened in the 2020 election, that's what we're after. Yeah, they still have the opportunity to do that. Yeah, in depositions, we asked them why they wouldn't do that. They said, well, it's old news now, which is ironic. But
okay,
it is what
Thank you, Albert. So that's what you would have gotten at the trial. I wanted you to hear that because there's a sense that how come, and I felt the same way. Like, I can't wait to hear the statement that Fox is going to be forced to read on the air. In addition to writing this check, they're going to have to issue some statement. And the reality was there was no statement. And Fox News Channel completely ignored this. They literally didn't report on it at all.
No, as a matter of fact, yesterday when the news of the settlement broke, everywhere on the internet, every website, CNN's website, MSNBC, ABC, all had news of the Dominion settlement. On the Fox News website, it had their lead in big pictures was public disgrace about a Biden cabinet member who had done something wrong. And it was just the irony of public disgrace, public dishonesty. Really? That's your lead? Mm-hmm.
That is truly on brand, though,
Yeah.
I'll just mention this. I thought this is mentioned as you read about all the money that Fox makes. This check, while substantial, it is a blow they can take financially. But I'll just mention this, and then I'll give you a little bit from this piece that I thought was pretty good. There'll be other lawsuits against Fox. Shareholders can sue. They can even sue executives because you understand there were falsehoods here and frauds perpetuated here and permitted here, all to get audience. But now you have to write a check for $787.5 million. If that affects the stock price, I, as a stockholder, may be added to a lawsuit. I promise you, Fox will be back in court related to this. And their executives and other characters around this, the constellation of figures, Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Mike Lindell, they're all in the sights of Dominion. They still, do you understand, are being sued by Dominion, all those people I just mentioned. So Fox and their associated personalities will very much find themselves in a courtroom again. Based on a series of sneak peeks at the damning evidence against Fox developed in pretrial discovery, the lucrative payout wasn't surprising, and it may not be that big a deal for Fox when you consider what humiliation they're avoiding. This is what I was saying before. The case was ripe for a settlement. in which Fox paid a premium to avoid a debacle of a trial, serving the party's interests more than society's. This is the point I wanted to make. We think about the interest that is served by this Dominion lawsuit, holding Fox News Channel, this major media outlet, to account for what are clear falsehoods. And you could even say for sowing the seeds of an unrest that led to a J6 attempted coup. That's not, in my judgment, what Dominion was suing for. I don't mean to be too cynical, but they got what they wanted. They brought Fox to their knees through discovery and discovery evidence being released that showed, as we've said, demonstrably they knew that they were pursuing a falsehood here on the air. But what Dominion wanted was a penalty. They wanted a monetary penalty. Dominion isn't acting in the public interest. They're acting in the interest of Dominion. This is a company that was worth $3 or $4 million before this whole thing began. They just got a check for close to $800 million. Were the damages real? Yes. But had you gone to trial, you have to show me how this $4 million company had $1.6 billion worth of damage. That might have been a big mountain to climb. Now, maybe not. As we say, the evidence was strewn everywhere. This was an absolute, out-and-out, wall-to-wall lie. And they were screaming it on 11, right? But the interest Dominion had in this suit I'm talking about was associated with money. And they got their money. And so from that standpoint, these lawyers out in front of the courthouse can say what they want about, we got the truth out there and this is a great day for democracy. And they did get the truth out there. It's not wrong, but it coexists with what is their real goal, which was to recover economic damage. That's your job. We've been damaged as a company. The way to right that wrong is with money. That's America. And that's what happened in that Dominion lawsuit. I'm not seeing comments, but Kim, you're watching, right? Albert, you're watching?
Oh, yeah, we've had some great comments up there. Mm-hmm.
Well, share a couple, please, while
I will share a couple. Let's see. Here's a good one. Yeah.
Could you read it? I'm sorry.
Copper says Dominion could easily impeach Fox witnesses with their own deposition testimony and text. The reality, even a verdict for Dominion would be appealed for years. They just want their money. And that's just what you said. It's about money, right?
Yeah, it really is. So,
and it's interesting, though, because I think America wanted more, right? Much of America, for Dominion, it was about money and making them whole. But for America, who, the people who knew it was a lie and saw what was happening, we wanted to come up and stay, right? We wanted to see the admission of the liars. And I think that's really what a lot of the texters and chatters are saying is, here's Eric Kennedy. Fox News viewers need to hear these things, but never will.
No,
Never
exactly.
will.
And, the way I knew that this settlement really didn't hold with the American people, that there wasn't enough there. They wanted real public accounting. I heard about it on The View. The View people, are they the women? Are there any guys on that View? No.
The whole point of it
women
is
of The View.
Yeah.
They are disappointed in the Fox settlement. I'm just getting this as breaking news. They hold out hope that other lawsuits will lead to mass firings. The amount was about half of what Dominion sought in its defamation lawsuit. Lies have consequences for our democracy to endure for another 250 years and hopefully much longer, said the lawyer. But good luck with that, is what Joy Behar said. As they began their discussion this morning, apparently Whoopi noted that it was revealed in the discovery documents and depositions that it was overwhelmingly known that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Should they have had to go onto their own network and say, look, Yes, we lied to y'all.
Yes, they should have.
Hmm.
All they did was issue a statement. And no, they should have. One person in the chat, and I forget who it was, said that the settlement should have included free commercials for Dominion for a year, where Dominion had, airtime on that station to run whatever spot they wanted.
Yeah. Well, everybody on the View panel, including Whoopi, annoyed with it. I don't know what the pull is that the View has anymore, but for those who watch it, I guess it's it's a fairly influential program. There was one time in America, I told you, when it was on the cover of the New York Times Magazine, and it was really celebrated as the most influential political show in America, The View. I don't know exactly how much, pull it still has.
Franco from Danville wants to know, any chance the Fox settlement includes the end of their BS? No, that wasn't included in the settlement.
The thing that you should know is, and just an interesting fact, just because we're talking about money and, the fact that they're going to have to write this check, the advertising revenue that they get is really low. That Fox News Channel is not supported by advertisers. No, they're supported by you and me. Our cable subscription, the carrier fees, they're massive. That's where they make all their money. They don't make it on advertising. You think My Pillow is paying for Fox News Channel? The My Pillow revenue couldn't even pay for Sean Hannity. So those carrier fees, when you order your cable, you get what? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News Channel, Fox Business, a bunch of other shows, Discovery, True TV, etc. Right? All of those channels are paid a carrier fee. And so that carrier fee is what's supporting Fox News Channel. So it's a weird thing to consider, but you and I are supporting Fox News Channel, and we're going to be paying off that. If you're a cable TV subscriber, going to be paying off that big judgment. And it's well worth it to them to, as I say, pay that and not think about it again. So it is wild how they took it all the way up into the 11th hour. I thought that was, we thought there would be a settlement on Monday, right? Then it looked like there was a settlement maybe in the offing, and then they literally had mic'd up the attorneys, apparently, and were all of a sudden stopped, and there was a delay, and then a settlement announced.
And the
this
judge
payout is
praised
exactly
them.
And the judge praised them, is that what you said?
Yeah, the judge praised the attorneys on both sides and said, this is what lawyering should be. This is how you do it.
Wow.
And John Smith agrees. He says this payout is exactly what's wrong with our country. If you have money, you can buy your way out of murder, he writes.
Well, that's certainly true. It's a flawed system in many ways. And obviously, this I thought was curious for one thing. If you're going to settle, why not settle before all that evidence comes out about how much you knew? I mean, you can't tell me that those recordings, those damning recordings, and the email exchanges and the text exchanges, the ones that said on part of Tucker Carlson, I can't stand this guy Trump. I can't wait till we don't have to report on him anymore. I mean, where everyone knew that they were slinging total BS. And I mean, and it was more than that. They were, as I've just said, they were reflecting animus toward this guy Trump. They didn't like him. And they were still doing everything they could to support his story because their audience liked him so much. You can't tell me that you wanted all that out there. So you don't want all that out there. So that's your incentive to do what? Settle before all that stuff does get out there.
Well, what I wonder is what else did they have? If that was damning enough, was there more in evidence that they had? Were there more conversations? Was there, more emails, more voicemails, maybe even, clips, video clips from when they thought they were off air? What else was there that made Fox want to protect those hosts? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that you needed a lot else. As you said, there was a lot out there.
There was.
Maybe there was other stuff out there. But, I mean, just to use a sports analogy, I mean, it's like conceding the game after, it's already 45-0. You know what I mean? And going, well, I'm glad we're getting out of it now. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been 63-0. Yeah, dude, it was bad, okay? What was exposed about your team was bad. So I don't see that calculation. I see it as a misstep, a massive misstep on the part of a media mogul, Rupert Murdoch, who has built an empire. I mean, he's not a stupid man. Why wouldn't you write this check before all that crap got out there? Anyway, they didn't. To me, they did the worst. They let all the stuff get out there, and then they settled for a huge number after all the stuff got out there the day of the trial. And I also understand why he held out, because that's leverage. Like, we're going to take you to trial, and we're going to win. Yep. And you maintain that posture in these kinds of negotiations because you want to negotiate the number down. And so as Dominion lawyers are there at the table and negotiating, Fox lawyers are saying, we're not worried, dude. Bring us to trial. I don't care. We're going to impeach all of your evidentiary material, and you're going to have a long slog on your hands, and then we're going to appeal this judgment if it goes against us, and you're going to be in court for years. That's the Fox position, okay? So I get that's why you might want to take it to the 11th hour, but I just think they rolled over for such a big number. I would have rolled over. If you've got that big number in your back pocket, roll over earlier. It seems like a major mistake. Anyway, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, look for Mike Lindell and all the rest of them. They all have legal exposure. And Dominion's not done. Plus, they're not the only voting machine in town, as you're aware. So this whole thing where votes were flipped and you can just kind of say whatever you want, that ain't cool. And that now is followed by legal judgments that are not going in the ways of these many media outlets and high-profile people who maintain this fraud. So,
The Mark Thompson Show.
That's kind of a big chunk of law and disorder, Albert. But can I do another little mini law and disorder here with other stuff? Is that
Sounds
okay with
good
you?
to me. Yep.
All right.
In the criminal justice system, the people,
pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care,
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law, you're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
I mean, this is important stuff, a lot of it. Some of it's right here in the Bay Area. I'll get to what I can now. The breaking news of the hour is that 2 people have been arrested and charged with murder in connection with that Alabama shooting that killed 4 people at that Sweet 16 birthday party.
Right.
That happened on Saturday. Sleepy town of 3,200. In addition to 4 who died, I thought the 32 were wounded, some critically. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, yesterday, lawmakers gave final passage to a bill designed to give greater protections to gun companies against lawsuits. The proposal, which moved on to Governor Bill Lean after a 19-9 vote in the Senate, would offer better safeguards to firearm and ammunition manufacturers and dealers. This is just 3 weeks after a school shooting in Nashville killed 6 people, including 3 9-year-old children. The Senator London Lamar, a Democrat there, said that offering new protections to gun companies while protesters in the state demanded greater gun control restrictions was disrespectful timing, is the quote. This is the whole thing with the 2 black Democratic Tennessee lawmakers who were expelled, you remember, from the chamber. They staged that demonstration. Anyway, the bill, again, is designed to give greater protections to gun companies against lawsuits. So the gun world grinds on in Tennessee. A ruling that would restrict access to an abortion pill across the U.S. is soon going to take effect unless the Supreme Court intervenes. They struck down the national right to abortion, as you know, this conservative, activist, jihadist Supreme Court. And that led to over a dozen Republican-aligned states passing outright bans on abortion. Now you have the abortion pill, mifepristone, on the chopping block. That will be decided, at least the beginnings of that process will be decided today. We can get...
I prefer the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, get Clarence Thomas back to that Walmart parking lot life because he's a simple man. He is from... he's from basic stock, regular stock.
I've come from regular stock.
Yeah, that's it. Regular stock. That man shot while trying to stop the theft at the Pleasanton Home Depot. This is a crazy situation. Man was fatally shot trying to stop a theft at a Home Depot. They finally got the guys who shot him, right, in Oakland?
Right.
Witnesses tell cops the man tried to stop someone who was attempting to steal from the store, and he was later shot. Officers with the Pleasanton Police Department could be seen working into the night, they say, at that Home Depot. What a sad, God, just unreal. They're not releasing the full name of the victim because of instructions from investigators, but...
They said he's a loss prevention worker, so...
Oh, so he's like a store security person then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
God. A man has been arrested in the shooting of that Texas cheerleader. That's a weird case. They were all getting into different cars. They were carpooling after this cheerleading thing, right? Outside an H-E-B supermarket in Elgin, Texas. And one of them got into the car, the back seat of a car that wasn't with their group. It was an accident. You know, they're all piling into different cars. Isn't that what happened, Kim?
Yeah, just like knocking on the wrong door. They got into the wrong car. And
the minute she realized she was in the wrong car, she got out. And then the guy with the gun shows up. And they speed off. He shoots his gun 5 times or so, they say. And those shots did hit and critically injure one of these cheerleaders. So...
what is it with, you know, how come there's no moment, take a beat, figure out if it's an honest mistake? You know, the knocking on the wrong door, the hopping in the wrong car. Why are people so fast, so quick to open fire?
Well, I mean, to shoot, what are you shooting this teenage girl because she got into the wrong? I mean, it's just...
I mean, look at her. She looks like a cheerleader.
Heather Roth said she was trying to apologize to the man when he got out of the passenger door. He just threw his hands up, then he pulled out a gun, and he just started shooting at all of us. Roth was struck by a bullet but was treated and released. Somebody else shot twice, badly injured, in the ICU recovering. It's crazy. I've got John Rothman waiting, so I can't give you much more. I kind of just grouped the gun stories together. I hope you don't mind. It's not all guns, but that's a little slice of America today. So
tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on the Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful.
Hey, there's a lot going on. What can I tell you? Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.